Jesus taught using parables. On this occasion, after a long day of speaking in parables, Jesus decided to go to the other side of the lake with some of his friends. But like many celebrities, he would not be alone. As their boat left the shore, several other boats followed them.
When you are with Jesus, you never need to consult a weather report or a meteorologist. You have the one who made the weather right there with you. As they made their way across the lake in their boat, a breeze started to blow. It was a strong breeze, more like a stiff one. This one was actually more powerful, like a hurricane. Jesus was sound asleep on his pillow.
You see, the storm was not a surprise to Jesus, and it didn't bother him at all. He was at peace. His friends were freaking out, though. They yelled out to him, "Jesus, don't you care that we are going to die?" Of course he cared. Without any sign of panic, Jesus stood up, walked calmly to the edge of the boat, and spoke to the storm. All he said was, "Be still." And the storm immediately quieted down.
The storm recognized Jesus' voice when he told it to be still, and it obeyed. Once the storm quieted, Jesus turned to his disciples, and he asked them why they were so afraid. Why did they have so little faith? They couldn't answer Jesus. They were too amazed. Even the wind and the waves obeyed his voice. The important thing to remember in this story is that Jesus was in the boat with his friends. He was in the storm, getting wet and tossed around just as they were. He was with them and yet completely at peace. Jesus brought calm and peace to the disciples of the boat. We can trust God to give us peace too. He will be with us in the storm. I know it may be hard to believe, but that's just how it happened in the Bible.
Quiet. hook.
Wait, what? Oh! I said helper.
Helper. Oh, okay. I'm glad you. Who can tell me why Jesus and his disciples were in a boat?
He can tell you. You know everything.
No, I don't know nothing.
You know nothing.
Only reason
Well,
how
I'm
I
going to
know,
go to the girls then.
He's innocent.
They were what?
Fishing?
Okay, they were fishermen, yeah, but they weren't fishing here.
Oh. They used to be fishing?
Jesus was sleeping.
Weren't they going somewhere?
Yes, they were going somewhere.
I just don't remember where they were going.
Well, they were. I love you. Thank you.
What?
Well, what they were doing was Jesus was preaching. And he preached to this little town. And then he healed a lot of people. Okay? Jesus always healed a lot of people. That's one of the things he was very well known for. Okay? And the town didn't want to let him go. They wanted him to stay. Because he was healing a lot of people. Right? Well, Jesus tells him, now look here. I got to go to other towns. I got to preach to the other towns just like I've been preaching to you. Because I've got to spread the...
I think I know.
Okay?
That someday will come for us.
Exactly. Someday Jesus is going to come back for us. And we're going to get to live in heaven with God forever. Okay? That's the good news. But you got to love Jesus in the process. And if you never heard of him...
Then we can teach you.
then you could, if you never heard of Jesus, you can't love him. Right? You got to know somebody to love him. And so what Jesus is telling this town is, look, I've loved on you. I've healed your people. I've driven out demons in your town. I've done things for you. Now it's time for me to go somewhere else.
Help other people like you.
Just like I helped you, now I got to go out and I've got to help others. So, there's a Bible verse specific for today. It is in listen to me. The book of Mark, chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse 35. That day, when evening came, he said to his disciples, let us go over to the other side. Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along. And just as he was in the boat, there were also other boats with him. So it wasn't just one or two boats. There was like a small little fleet of boats, okay? A furious squall came up. Who knows what a squall is?
a squirrel,
Squall.
a squall. No.
A walled up squirrel. Come on now.
Come on.
You're
man.
water. You live in a water town. You should know what a squall is.
No, I'm sorry.
I do not know what
No
it's called.
idea.
It's kind of like. Have you ever seen the water spouts out on the water
Yes.
where it looks like a small little hurricane coming
Yeah.
in? Okay, that's kind of like what a squall is, except it's a little bit bigger than that. Okay, it's a bad storm, is what a squall is. Okay,
Hurricane?
not quite as bad as a hurricane, but bad.
It ain't like no Katrina.
Tornado?
It ain't
Kind of
Hurricane
like.
Sally.
A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat. What does that mean? The waves breaking over the boat.
Water gets in the boat or it breaks the boat.
Okay, water is getting in the boats, sinking the boats. Okay, it says the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. And if you see a swamped boat, that's a boat that's underwater. Okay, y'all got that?
That's true.
Like, you know that big boat? I forgot what it's called, but there was a big boat and it broke in half and it went underwater.
Titanic?
That would be the Titanic,
Yeah,
yes.
so
Or
that's
the
a
submarine.
That's not us.
Well, no, that one hit an
The
iceberg.
movie series from
Yeah, but like if you see a boat underwater, that's what.
Yeah. The boat underwater is a swamped boat.
Oh yeah, that's a swamp boat.
Yes. Okay. Jesus was in the stern. The stern of a boat is the very front of the boat. Okay.
the arrow shape.
You know what that is? Okay. That's where she was standing up on the Titanic, talking about Queen of the World. Or that was him, King of the World. Okay, whoever, I didn't watch the movie.
I only watched
But
it.
anyway, the one that's standing at the top of the boat, at the very front of the boat, that is the stern of a boat. Okay? This was in the stern. Okay? What was he doing on a cushion? You can tell me. What was Jesus doing laying on the cushion in the stern of the boat?
Sleeping.
Sleeping? You mean he wasn't having a party?
Party.
You're right, he was sleeping. Jesus was sound asleep in the stern of the boat on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" Now these are a bunch of fishermen. Only a few of them were not fishermen. Most of them fished on that very lake for a career, folks. They knew what they were doing. This wasn't a bunch of sailors like me getting out on the water sailing a boat. I'd probably swamp my boat in 5 seconds and be going down, okay? But these men who are waking Jesus up and saying, "Don't you care if we drown?" These are pros. They've been fishing on that very lake for decades, okay? Peter's probably in his mid-30s, maybe even his 40s. He knows what he's doing. He's not a fool. He knows how to guide a boat in that kind of storm and water, okay? And here he is, he's saying to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?"
No.
Well, I think he does. Silly head.
I know how to swim.
Well, so did they, honey. They were fishermen. They lived out on that water. They knew what they were doing.
Then how are they gonna drown?
They might have been swimming with the fishes.
The water was swamping their boat. It was going down in the deep part of the lake.
They should know what to do in that situation.
They
You
should have
acting like
known
you
what
can't
to do,
swim
but
when
they
you're
were
wet.
scared. Are you listening to me? They were scared. They thought they were dying. And if they thought they were dying, my bet is they were pretty close to dying. Okay? "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" They were afraid. And Jesus got up and rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Quiet! Be still." Who of you has ever been rebuked by your mama or your daddy? Do you know what it means to be rebuked?
What that mean?
It means to get hollered at for doing something wrong. So I would say to you, "Young lady, what are you doing right now getting into that mess? I told you, leave it alone." Right? That's a rebuke, isn't it, baby? Now, she did not really do anything wrong. I'm just using her as an example, and she's good at it. Thank you. But we've all been rebuked by our moms or our dads. That's part of growing up. That's part of growing up and knowing right from wrong.
That's the most
It's-
important part.
That's part of growing up, learning right from wrong, so that when you're a grown up, you know right from wrong.
And you can teach your kids.
And you can teach your children. That's part of being rebuked. And Jesus rebuked the waves and the wind. "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. Now it went from being loud, so loud they could probably barely hear each other talking, okay, to being calm and quiet. Okay? And he said to the disciples, "Why are you so afraid?" They knew who they had in the boat with them. They had Jesus. Many times they've already told Jesus that he was the Son of God. And yet here they are. They're so afraid that Jesus is asking them, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no is this?" Now they've already admitted him to be the Son of God many times. But now they're terrified. Who is this that the wind and the waves obey him? People hadn't seen God do that kind of miracle yet. Well, they have. Let's be clear, because we have the plagues on Egypt that had some very similar causation going on. Okay, this wasn't the first time they saw God control the weather. This has been several thousand years since they've seen God control the weather. Okay. And now they're seeing it firsthand. God controlled the weather. It wasn't a little bitty dust up storm in the desert somewhere. This was, we could be drowned. We could die. And he comes in and he tells those stupid waves to stop. And they stop. This is big miracles, babies. Have you ever heard of anybody doing that since this?
Nope.
No, I haven't either. I have not heard of another person saying out to the waves, "Peace, be still," and at work. We have some people not paying attention.
I'll pay attention.
No, you're
Yes,
not. Who can you give peace to?
Us.
Us. If we're in a battle, a spiritual battle where we're scared that something's going to hurt us or someone is going to hurt us, we can turn to God and say, "God, help me." And he can give us peace. It's not something that just happened back then. God can give us peace now.
I think I remember the memory verse.
Yeah, what is it?
It's even wise and the ocean and wise and waves obey him.
What? He's cheating.
The wind and waves obey him. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he was cheating. I kind of knew that. He didn't fool me.
Who was the cheat and the liar and the stealer and not a good person, but God forgave him, gave him the dream of a flight of stairs going to heaven, and gave him the opportunity to be forgiven and being the head of a great nation. And then we saw the story of a wonderful lady named Ruth, and Ruth was very willing to give up her life with family in order to be able to keep her mother-in-law company and go home with her and protect her and then find food for them to eat so she wouldn't go hungry. And God rewarded her by giving her a wonderful husband, and they ended up having children together, one of whom ends up being King David. And yesterday's story, we meet Jesus for the first time. He's only 12 years old, and he's in the temple, and he's showing how wise he is, despite being only 12 years old. And so it's pretty amazing that we can see progression going through Scripture from Old Testament to New Testament. And Jesus ended up sharing wisdom with the teachers and the priests, and they couldn't believe a boy that young could know that much. And yet that was always God's plan, that Jesus would grow in wisdom and in stature, taller, and in favor with God and men, so that everyone loved and cared for him. Today's story is also in the New Testament, but the difference is Jesus is now grown up completely. He's 30 years old. He has chosen 12 disciples, 12 special men. I know it sounds like, how come he only chose men? But he also chose Mary Magdalene, and he had his mother Mary going with them. And there was just a lot of different women who also joined the group and helped with different tasks that they had. And so it wasn't just the men, but in Bible times, only the men. I think I told you the other day, you girls never would have got to go to school, Hebrew school, unless your dad taught you at home. Only the boys went to Hebrew school. But as time passes, Jesus and his disciples are traveling the countryside. And Jesus is preaching and he's teaching. He's telling stories like me. His stories are called parables. And so he spends a lot of time sharing lessons of life by telling stories that people understand. Like when he told story about farmers spreading seed, if the seed lands on the rocks, it dies. It doesn't grow into anything. If it lands on the path, the birds eat it all up. It doesn't grow anything. If it throws over in the weeds choke it out. It doesn't grow anything. But if you plant your seed on the healthy ground, then it grows into beautiful plants, makes more plants with seeds, because plants and seeds, and plants and seeds, and plants and seeds. I was telling the third graders earlier, I said, if anybody ever tries to give you the joke, which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg! The chicken!
God created everything in the world as an adult so that the adults could take care of
But how many chickens
the
came
babies.
first?
Well, they don't necessarily tell us how many chickens, but God covered the world with animals. There's no question about that. And so the fact that there had to be a mom chicken laying eggs first, and then from there you have every generation going from chicken to egg to chicken to egg. Just like with seed to plant to seed to plant.
Can rooster run?
That girl got that new iPhone.
They do not. Okay, so when time passes and Jesus is teaching all these stories, he goes from group to group to group, and everybody's listening and learning, including his disciples, who are supposed to know him the best. I know that every day when I get home after Bible school, I am so tired, and all I did was tell 5 stories to 5 groups. Jesus told stories to hundreds and hundreds of people. So imagine how tired he must be getting. And somebody in the other class said, but he was God. He doesn't get tired. He's half God. Remember? His mom is Mary. She's human, just like all of us. His father is God. So he did get hungry, and he did get tired, and he did get thirsty, and all those things so that he could say to you, I really understand how you feel. I feel that way too. You're feeling sad. I'm feeling sad. You're suffering pain. I'm suffering pain. If Jesus couldn't live through all the experiences that people had, they wouldn't follow him and believe in him. So it was important that he completely understood that whole idea. So Jesus is traveling around the countryside, and he is preaching and teaching everywhere he goes. And finally one day he says to the disciples, I have got to rest. I don't need a long time, but I need a little time, and there's another group of people waiting to hear my lessons and my preaching on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. We need to get to the other side. It's going to take us 3 days to walk. I don't know if I can do it. I'm so tired. Well, remember, half of the disciples were fishermen. So they knew all about boats. They knew all about the lake and the sea. Excuse me. And so they were prepared to right away have a great idea. And they said, well, Lord, we have our boats down here by the shore, and look out onto the sea. It is as smooth as glass.
Smooth like butter.
So it's going to be so easy. We'll just put you in the boat. You can lay down and take a nap. We are fishermen and sailors. We know how to take care of getting this boat across the sea to the other side. And by the time we get over there, it's going to take us about 3 hours. By the time we get over there, you will have had a nice rest, and you'll be ready to preach to the next group of people. Jesus says, that sounds like a wonderful idea. And so they all pile into the boat. This is my boat. You have to use your imagination when you're a storyteller. So the little kids, the kindergartners and the preschoolers, they get to climb in the boat. I'm afraid it is not big enough for you all. I'm so sorry. I definitely couldn't take any of you or any of your leaders. You would not fit in my little boat. But anyway, the class that just left, the 1st and 2nd graders, they climbed in there for a minute. One wanted to stay, curl up with a pillow and sleep for the rest of the lesson. But anyway, they all get on the boat and they start out. Well, after the first hour, it's been lovely. It's been smooth sailing. There's a nice breeze, which they needed a breeze to blow into the sail and make the boat move. They didn't have motors back in those days. And so you either rowed the boat with oars, or you let the wind push through the sail and make the boat move along. All of a sudden, it's not as smooth as it was. Things seem to be getting a little bumpy, and then a little more bumpy, and then that beautiful blue sky turns pitch black, and bolts of lightning start coming down out of the clouds, and the disciples start to panic. They're thinking, what happened to our plan to smoothly get across the sea? And the waves are getting so high that they're starting to fill the boat with water. And they look over and there's Jesus sound asleep in the corner of the boat. He's totally calm and not worried about a thing. He doesn't even realize there's a storm. And he's just not worried about a single thing that's going on. And they're thinking, doesn't he care about us?
Nope.
Doesn't he really love us and want to keep us safe? Is he just going to lay there and let us all drown?
Yep.
After much fussing and fuming, and if you've ever been in a thunderstorm, you know how bad they can be. Recently, 3 weeks ago, I guess, we had a really bad thunderstorm here in Pensacola, and I thought it was finally over and it was moving on, and with that, a huge strike of lightning hit my backyard.
Oh,
knocked out the television, the computer, the telephones, everything. And I thought, oh, this is not what I needed today. And it took another whole week to get new equipment, get everything hooked back up again. So thunderstorms can be really, really rough. And of course, you all live here, if you live here all the time, in Pensacola, you know all about hurricanes. And hurricanes are just gigantic thunderstorms, you know, with high waves that bring in flooding and then lightning and thunder and usually no power for 3 weeks. So I think when we had Ivan, we lost power for 2 weeks. And then another whole week to try to get everything. Hurricane Ivan, which was several years ago. And it gets really rough. And they just had a hurricane in Texas. And I'm really hoping that none of the hurricanes head our way. We would just as soon skip those. But the disciples finally panic and they wake Jesus up. Lord, Lord, do you care? Do you know we're going to drown? And he looks at them and says, oh, ye of little faith. He said that a lot to people. And then to other people that he met, usually total strangers, he says, you have amazing faith. Faith is believing in things that you can't see, because it's easy to believe in something if it's right there in front of you. But if you can believe in something you can't see and believe in something you don't understand, then you're showing faith. Everything about Jesus involves faith. And so he needed the disciples to have faith, and they didn't. They panicked. They thought he forgot about them, that he was sound asleep and they were going to drown. So of course he wakes up and he looks out into the water and looks out at the storm and he goes, peace, be still. And that fast, the waves drop, the sun comes out, the black clouds disappear, the lightning bolts go away, and it's so smooth that they have to ask him to make a little bit of a breeze or the boat won't move. And they're just amazed. Now, remember a few things. Jesus had been doing miracles in front of the disciples for quite a while. And these miracles included things where the person he was helping, they had to obey him and do something to make the miracle work. For example, he met a man who was blind. All this man wanted Jesus to do was give him money. Jesus said, no, but I have something better than money to give to you. And he spit in the dirt, wiggled his finger in it, made mud, and put the mud on the man's eyes. That sounds gross, but the man had been blind his whole life, so he'd never been able to see anything. So this didn't really surprise him. And then he said, right next to you is the pool of water. You need to crawl over to that and wash the mud away. Now, the man could have just sat there and said, no, I'm too scared to crawl over to the pool, or I know that you're supposed to be the miracle man and you can just make me see like that. And Jesus said, no, just crawl over to the pool and wash off the mud. And as soon as he did, he opened his eyes and he had perfect vision. He could see everything for the first time in his life. Another time they met up with somebody who couldn't walk. And so he came down, and the man was listening to the stories Jesus was telling and was very much aware of everything that was going on to all the people that he was speaking to. And with that, the man said to him, please, Lord, I would like to be able to walk again. And he said, your faith has healed you. Roll up your mat and walk out the door. And the man could have said, oh, it's too heavy, I don't want to walk out. I mean, I don't want to carry my mat, and I've never been able to walk. I can't stand up and walk now. But he didn't. He obeyed. And he rolled up the mat and he walked away. And everybody who saw it happen was just in awe. They could not believe it. And probably the biggest miracle that Jesus ever did in his life on earth was when his cousin, best friend, Lazarus, had gotten sick and died before Jesus got there. And when Jesus and the disciples arrived, they said to him, to the sisters of this man, where's your brother? Well, Lord, he's been in the tomb for 4 days, and if you had come sooner, you could have saved him. I know you could have, because they had amazing faith, those two ladies, Mary and Martha. And he said, no, I didn't come because this is to teach a lesson about the kingdom of God. And the people at that time, they believed the kingdom of God was going to be an army on horses with swords, and they were going to attack the Romans and get rid of them and take the land back for the Jews again. Jesus kept saying, that's not the kind of kingdom I'm working on here. The kingdom that I'm creating is up in heaven. This is where you need to be for that. And so when they get to the tomb, and Jesus told the men who were standing there, everybody was sad because Lazarus had been dead for 4 days, you roll away the stone on the tomb. And even his sisters said, oh Lord, it's going to smell so bad. He's been dead for 4 days and it's hot and this is not a good idea. And Jesus just said, I know what I am doing. Roll away the stone. And the men did. And again, we have to do our part and obey, because obey is the key word in today's Bible verse. And so Jesus stood in front of the tomb and yelled, Lazarus, come forth. And people are thinking, this man is crazy. That guy's been dead for 4 days and he thinks he's going to walk out. Guess what?
He walked out.
He walked out. And not only did he walk out, but then Jesus said to him, take off all those grave clothes. And so the others helped him with that part, because you wrap up the body when the person dies back in the olden days in strips of cloth. And so they took that all off, and Lazarus is looking around like, where am I? What happened? What did I get here? And of course, Mary and Martha are just, their mouths drop. They go running, hugging their brother. They are so happy. Then they're hugging Jesus. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But if everybody involved in this miracle had not obeyed, then none of this would have worked out at all.
He would still be dead.
He would still be dead. So our verse today that we have, you've probably had a few classes to practice this. Who is this? Let's say it together. Who is this? Even the wind and waves obey him. Mark chapter 4. And so this shows them that I don't understand. You know, I've been watching Jesus. He's been telling people to do things, and as a result of them obeying, he's had miracles, and they've been able to see and walk and come back to life and everything. He can talk to the sky. He can talk to the water the boat is floating on. Well, you've got to remember that at the very beginning of the Bible, I mean the very, very beginning, the first few chapters of the Bible are called the creation. And when the creation happened, God and Jesus were up in heaven, because Jesus was God's son before he ever came down to earth and was born as a baby. And so they're in heaven. God's looking down at everything that's in front of them and says, well, I think we'll create some things here. And so the first thing they create is 9 planets. So they make all of these different forms and a sun in the middle, and they have the planets rotating around. Did you learn in school how to remember the names of the planets?
Yeah.
I'll teach you a little trick. The trick is you say the sentence, my very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas. And the reason you say that is the first letter of every one of those words is the name of the planet. My is Mercury, very is Venus, educated is Earth, mother is Mars, just is Jupiter, served is Saturn, us is Uranus, 9 is Neptune, pizzas is Pluto. So those are the names of the 9 planets. That's how I taught my 3rd graders to memorize them for a test they had to take. So they created all those 9 planets, and then God looks down and says, okay, now we're going to pick one. And they picked Earth. And when they picked planet Earth, then he started creating things on the Earth. Okay? He created all of the trees, and well, before he could do the trees, he had to say, okay, let's pull apart dry land, water, and daytime, nighttime, and now we'll have sky, and now we put all these plants on the land, and we need animals everywhere, and so we're going to make animals that swim, put them in the water, animals that fly, put them in the sky, animals that eat trees and grass and so forth, put them on the land. Looks pretty good. So they created it all, and being they made it, of course, Jesus could control it. And so once that was all done, then they created us with the first man, Adam, and the first woman, Eve. And from that point on, it was constantly an opportunity to make this happen over and over and over again with generation after generation of people, until Noah and the whole world got cleaned out, and they started over again with just Noah and his sons and their wives. But if God and Jesus was there with him, they could cause all those things to happen. Of course he can stand up in this boat and go, peace, be still. And peace and quiet is something you guys probably don't understand, because kids are young and they don't mind noise and all that, but parents, by the time we get our children through the day, fed and laundry and groceries and meals, and everybody goes to school and everybody goes to sports and everybody does everything they're supposed to do, showers, puts them all to bed, and you go out and you sit down in your living room and go, peace and quiet. And so you'll understand that better when you get older.
And then it starts screaming.
Hopefully not. Everybody falls asleep and they sleep soundly throughout the night.
Unless they
We need to realize that this is how God planned the world
Does
to
she
be.
snore?
And we
Yeah, she looked like a quiet person.
we are
Yeah, you can.
she's a quiet one, yes. We are envious of all the ways that the world works. We may not understand it, but we can trust God to provide it. In this lesson, we're trusting him to give us peace. There will be times when maybe your life does feel crazy. You're worried about a test you have to take, or a game you're playing in with the sport that you do, or whatever. And when it's over and you did well, then you can take a deep breath and relax and say, okay, peace and quiet. So these are things we need to remember from this particular story. They did get back in the boat. I mean, they were in the boat, the water all got drained out, and they continued on their 2-hour floating across the ocean, the lake. And they got to the other group, and Jesus was refreshed. He had a nap, and he felt good, and he started preaching again. He did not want to miss one opportunity to tell people about his Father and the kingdom. Okay? Have you heard about missionaries? Missionaries are people that go to foreign countries and teach and share the message of Jesus Christ. In modern day times, missionaries can get on a computer and they can start broadcasting around the world and help people in other lands hear about Jesus. There are people that live in countries far away that if you ever met them and you said, do you know about Jesus? They wouldn't know what you were talking about. So it's our job to tell them. And that's what missionaries are, wonderful, wonderful people who travel around the world and go and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ to others. You get to do that every day in your life if you're paying attention. Maybe you meet somebody in school and they said to you, how come you're always so calm? How come you don't get mad and yell bad words at people? Why are you so easygoing and nice to everybody? What's wrong with you? And you say, there's nothing wrong with me. I have Jesus living in my heart, and this is how I'm supposed to act. Jesus? Who's Jesus? That's your opportunity.
Buy them a Bible and read it to them.
Well, they may.
They can write.
You know, the other day when I was driving home from getting Kendall in Montgomery to bring her down, my granddaughter, to spend the week with me, we were right here in town next to the McDonald's on Mobile Highway, and there was a man standing on the corner holding a sign and a Bible, yelling at the cars as they went by.
Duh.
I don't think that's the way God wants us to tell people, to yell or read to them. Just tell about yourself. Oh, well, Jesus lives in my heart. Oh, you want to know about Jesus? Well, you know, he's from the Bible. You can definitely mention the Bible, but say, you know, he healed people. He provided a way for me to go to heaven someday when I die. I mean, and they'll be surprised that you're saying that, but if you say it the right way, they'll believe you, and it will be a blessing to one and all. So we just need to have the chance to be a missionary to the people you meet in school every day. You're about to start a new year. Okay. How many of you are going to be 6th graders this year? That's your first time in middle school, right? Totally different. Here you were just in elementary school for 5 or 6 years. And, you know, that works one way. But now suddenly in middle school you have to go to all these different classes with all these different teachers and not get lost. And you know, you may be driving to school with your family. You may be riding a school bus for the first time. There'll be new people there. I had a very sad thing happen when I started school. I lived in New York State. If any of you know where New York is, it's very, very far north.
Yes, far, far up.
And I had just finished my freshman year of high school. And I was happy. We were in a new school. Everything was great. And my dad walked in and said, they're closing my company. We're moving to New Jersey. And I said, what? No, we're not. I was not a very obedient, cooperative child at that point. All my friends were there in New York. I mean, I'd lived there my whole life. I was 15, and he said, I'm sorry, hon, but we're moving to New Jersey. So I get to New Jersey, and I'm ready to start at the new school. Well, guess what? In New Jersey, they have middle school 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Oh, that's middle school. So all these kids are starting high school for the first time. And there were 2 different middle schools. One was called, what was one called? Central, and the other was Mission. I think it was called Mission High School, or Mission Middle School. Anyway, we get there. Well, everybody from one middle school thought, because nobody knew me, I was brand new, thought, oh, she's from the other middle school. And then all the people from that middle school said, oh, she must be from that middle school. So it wasn't like you're all in the same school all these years and a new kid comes in and you say, oh, this is somebody new. Let's be friendly. Let's welcome them. They don't know anybody. I didn't know anybody, but nobody talked to me. Nobody invited me to sit at lunch with them. They all knew each other from the school they came from, and they all had friends instantly, and I had no friend. I was so sad and miserable. And yet, and that day, at the end of the day, I missed the bus because I didn't know that the bus drops you off in the front and picks you up in the back. So, nobody told me. And so I go out to the front and there's no bus, and I go into the office and the secretary yells at me, didn't you know that your bus goes into the back? And I thought, I am brand new to New Jersey and you're yelling at me about where the bus goes. I felt terrible. She said, well, use the phone and call your father. We just moved into our new house yesterday. They hooked up the phone this morning. I have no idea what my phone number is. And the are you kidding? And I said, no, ma'am, I'm not. So she opens her record, you know, they've got paperwork, and they find my name. Oh, this is your phone number. And she dials and hands me the phone. And my dad answers. I burst into tears. I said, Dad, it's been terrible. Nobody's talked to me. I don't know the phone number. I missed the bus. I'm here at the school. Please can't we move back to New York? So he comes to get me and takes me home. Well, the next day I got on the bus at the regular bus stop and met two very nice girls who lived around the corner. Because that morning they had just dropped me off to sign me in at the school. So I didn't know where the bus stop was or where it went or anything. But by that day, they said, here, come sit with us. I'll meet you at lunch. I know some friends. We go to this church. Would you like to come to our church? I said, I would love to. I had the happiest 3 years growing up in that school for high school for 15, 16, 17 years old. That's what you can be for somebody next week. When you go to your new school, if you see somebody that's kind of standing there looking scared, remember, they may need a friend.
Yes.
And you can help them know about Jesus by acting like Jesus was. We've had a special prayer every day, and today's is a little different. Peace is the most important thing we learned today. Let's do our verse one more time. Who is this? Even the wind and waves obey him. Mark chapter 4. And our prayer today is anytime you feel stressed or anxious, especially those of you that are 5th graders going into the 6th grade for the first time, this could be your prayer. Listen carefully. Take in a deep breath through your nose. Breathe out slowly through your mouth. And whisper the word peace.
Peace.
Amen. Thank you as usual. You are wonderful listeners. We only have one more day.
Like a bee.
Is this always red in this? It's black and yellow.
It's black and it has yellow teeth.
Oh, okay. Just two? Okay.
There you go.
You still working your cross?
Sharon wanted me to make hers. Make her one, so.
It's pretty.
Somebody help me.
There's more another beads. Beads. The one, the red one.
I'm using the red ones right now.
Okay.
Oh, you don't know that?
I'll give you a few if you want.
You suck at it, yes.
Thank you for all the pink.
You all suck at it.
Maybe the one.
Your
Would you like the red?
Your ass. Your ass.
No.
Posey.
Is there more holes?
Oh, you got the red.
No, she's about to say.
Holy God. Y'all got some black.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of black.
Wait, what? That's a good idea. Oh, yeah.
I know this could fit. Don't tell me already and I just started. I know you can fit.
I'm on the stage right now. Singing your favorite song.
Tell me shut up.
Jonah, are you making a Valentine's video? No, this is supposed to go with my foot.
No, it actually goes with your birthday.
Yeah, and my foot.
Your birthday was. Dang, I should have made a Christmas
No, I have one of the part shirts. You know that.
It's going to double as a metaphor for our Bible story that we heard this morning. Can someone tell me what happened in our Bible story this morning? Me first.
Yes.
Okay. Go first.
There was a storm and the fishermen were freaking out, and then Jesus woke up and stopped the storm.
Okay. So, do we have not literal storms, but figurative storms in our lives? So it doesn't have to be literally raining outside, but do we have storms in our lives? Bad things that can be scary. Okay. Name me a storm that might happen in your life. Like an actual thunderstorm, what else would happen in your life that would be like a storm?
Hurricane Sally.
Okay. It could be like a storm if you had to suddenly move to a new house in a new city somewhere. That would be very scary and confusing. Okay. What else might happen in your life that would be very scary and confusing? be very scary, right? That would be very scary and confusing. So we're waiting for the water to come back and then we're going to do the experiment, okay? So, if you look at the bowl right now, you can see the sticker on the bottom, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So the sticker is going to represent like happy times and happiness and making like joy and the good stuff. Okay. So when we get the water, we're going to put water in.
Why is there pink stuff?
Why is there? Because
That's soap.
it's soap. We're going to see what happens.
That's soap. That's pepper. No.
No.
Why are we going to drink soap, Chloe?
Yes. I eat bubbles.
What's up?
They were in the air as a bubble.
There's nothing wrong with this. Eating bubbles?
It doesn't taste like anything. It just pops in your mouth.
It tastes like
medicine.
Probably shouldn't eat soap. It's probably not.
I put soap in my mouth before because I thought it would brush my teeth.
I brush my
Okay.
What?
I mean, it's just black pepper. So awesome. Take a cigarette.
I thought you said thank you, cigarette.
Okay.
Unless it's
All right. Back up. So I'm filling it up, and the water.
It's gonna make it.
We can still see.
Let me sniff it.
We can still see the sticker through the water, right?
I can still see it.
Okay. So we are still having some happy times in our life, right?
Yeah, it's just a little watery. It's a little bit watery. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, stop.
All right. So I'm gonna sprinkle pepper on top. I want to do this, like don't touch it.
Paprika?
No, just regular black pepper. So I'm going to sprinkle it on top, and the pepper is going to represent some of the bad things that might happen in life. So when the disciples were on the boat, they were very scared and nervous and afraid, okay? And it started to cloud their happiness. See? So now, if I do that, we can't really see the sticker anymore.
I can kind of see it.
It smells like chicken.
It smells like a tree.
Some other bad things might happen.
Smell like mac and cheese.
Being mad or angry.
It does smell like mac and cheese.
God.
Oh, wow, it smells like mac and cheese.
Oh, God.
Alright,
It smells disgusting.
Exactly.
Somebody smell that.
Smells like
It
are you ready?
smells like something sweet.
Smells
It smells like Froyo.
So, right now we have our life
Pepper Froyo.
Listen.
and a bowl full of floating pepper. And we're saying that the pepper represents sadness, anger,
Evilness.
things that are unkind, things we don't really want. Okay?
Exploding.
Now we have to try to figure out how are we going to get the pepper out of the bowl. How do you think we can get the pepper out of the
Like
bowl?
drinking the water.
Putting the soap in it, which makes the pepper spread out. Yes.
Okay? How else do we get it?
Dip your finger in the soap.
Already
Oh, don't do it yet. Okay? We could use
Yeah, we
Okay. So, here's the deal with this experiment. I can only really do it once because once I do it, it doesn't really work again. So I need everyone to be able to see. I'm going to stick my finger in the soap and then we're going to stick my soapy fingers in the pepper and we're going to see what happens, okay? In my beautiful metaphor, the soap represents Jesus.
The soap represents.
I'm going to do it just because it's a little
Soap is now Jesus.
The soap represents in this metaphor Jesus, okay? Because if you remember, the disciples, they were in this big storm. They couldn't see. It was scary and they weren't sure what to do. And then they went and they got Jesus, right? And what did Jesus do?
So fed in my can.
It's so fine. What did Jesus do?
I'm dying.
He calmed the storm.
What did he say? He said what?
Peace, be quiet.
Peace, be still. Ready? Peace, be still.
Oh.
I love it.
It moved.
I saw it. It went on top of the person. It went on top of the person. Now I gotta drink
Don't
it.
believe me? Look at my leg.
I'm dying.
You'll be fine.
I'm dying to this Ajax. Ultra
Peace,
strong.
be still.
Ajax.
Right?
Why are you doing it?
Alright, so
Is he put soap in there?
Did you just eat some pepper?
when I put my soapy finger into the pepper water, what happened?
It turned into pepper water.
Okay, what happened? What pepper did?
It went in her eyes and it went in her eyes and then Because the peppers it's a chemical reaction kind of thing.
No, dog.
Chemical reaction or physical reaction? Okay. So,
Listen.
now not salt. So you can still see some pepper floating on top of the water. Why is some pepper floating on top of the water and not other pepper?
Because it isn't that close.
Again,
Okay.
pepper in my eyes. I'm crushing up.
Okay, there's
Oops,
certain.
it isn't working.
And if you guys are fifth graders, you might know this word. I think you've probably
I'm
had
going
it.
to 5th grade.
If you've been in fifth grade,
I'm going to 5th.
what does water have that allows the pepper to float on top?
Helium.
No,
Medicine.
it's surface something.
Surface friction.
Close. Surface tension. Okay? So, surface tension is this kind of magical shield that's on top of water that lets some things float and other things sink. So when I put my silky finger into the water, it broke the surface tension and all the pepper that was floating on the surface moved away. Okay? So that's why, like when you wash your hands, they always say to use soap. Soap will break the water surface tension and actually get the germs off your hands. Alright?
How did you taste it though?
And it's on the table. You don't know where this table been. People could have been licking on it.
I don't know, this table's been covered in bubble soap and vinegar, so it probably tastes like pepper, bubble soap, and vinegar.
Bro, you're nasty. Your buns, bro. You taste
Alright, hey, when we move the pepper out of the way, at first, did you see the sticker on the bottom? You might not be able to anymore, but at first, did you see the sticker on the bottom?
Yeah,
Alright,
I can still kind of see it.
Kind of.
Yeah, I see it jumping all over. It's walking.
We used to like mix it up at first, and then like why did I touch it? Hold on. You try to like mix it up.
It looked like
makes all the
Mama's
peppers
herb
go to the
tea.
bottom,
For
and
real.
that defeats the entire purpose of this experiment.
Now it's brown.
I know.
It's a tornado.
Jonah's mixing it. I'm gonna mix it up.
It's on the middle.
All right.
It looked like
Hey, be careful, man. You're gonna
Ready?
delete the world.
Ready? Bible class.
Yes, he is.
Right.
Y'all know hands, guys? Can you do that?
You funny.
No.
Be careful.
Sit
You're gonna delete
on
the
your
world.
bottom. Hands on the table. Ice cream.
He's cooking.
Hands in this. All right. So, in this experiment, in this metaphor, the water and the sticker were life, and those were the good times, and sometimes the dark clouds or the pepper storm come along. Jesus is the one that can part the clouds, and
Jesus is soap.
You can't even
so,
see this.
and he can help us see the good times again. So, Jesus calmed the storm with a simple command. God is powerful over put the spoon down over all the storms we encounter. We can trust God to give us peace. Alright, that is my experiment here. We're going to do one other experiment because I think you guys are big enough to actually make this work. So I need,
Put the soap in the dishwasher.
we're going to make magical floating arms for ourselves.
Wait, what?
I need y'all to come over here. Yeah, come on up.
Floating arms. Oh, we're gonna put out our arms and
Can y'all make a line?
float in the air.
Then you're going to take it and you're going to push up against the doorway with the back of your hands, okay? If you push up against the doorway, you'll feel your muscles in your shoulder to your elbow get tight. And they're going to be like burning, so you're working those muscles, okay? You're going to stand here and you're going to push against the doorway, and we're going to count to 30. And then you're going to step out, and your arms should magically float up, even though you don't want them to, okay?
They gonna be there forever?
No, they'll come back down. So we're going to start with Nathan. So Nathan's going to stand there, he's going to push his arms, and we're all going to count to 30. Ready? Make sure you push them hard, otherwise it won't work. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
11,
12,
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29,
32, 33, 34.
There you go. Yeah, it worked.
What?
Good.
35,
Nice. That's good.
36.
How do you feel?
37.
37.
Good. All right, next. I actually have class this works with.
40.
Ready? Push really hard. You should feel it between here and there. Ready? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, nice job! Next. Alright, ready? Make sure you're pushing so your muscles start right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
I don't even know what to do.
How do you feel? Go, AJ.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
How do you feel?
Nope. Where you pushing?
Yeah, what did they do?
You're supposed to make your arm do this. What did you do? You're supposed to make your arm baby.
I think you did it wrong.
I think he doesn't do at all.
You can just do it like as hard as you can. Make your
You have to stretch.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now stop.
Huh?
Okay.
Now y'all, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
So now 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
I love. Good luck.
2, push really hard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
30.
Nice job.
Yeah, you good job.
Yep. They're supposed to. Alright.
It's effective.
Okay.
Chloe.
Good.
Good luck.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21,
What the heck?
What happened? What happened? Jakaili not done yet. Jakaili not done yet. Jakaili, come on, baby.
Wait, did you get to go?
Noile, you're not done yet.
Okay. Alright, if you're done, then you're done with her.
Please sit down.
Sit down.
AJ.
It look like this. It's gonna be like a little braided chain. So what you're gonna do is you have your index finger in the loop, right?
What's an
So if you
index?
want up,
The finger that you point with.
Just
your
follow.
finger, sorry, this finger, your second finger. Okay? Put it in the loop. Then you're gonna take your really long piece of string and you're gonna put it in front of your loop. Okay?
Wait, what?
So you have your index finger, you're gonna take your really long,
Arj,
longer
Arj.
piece of string.
Follow her.
You're gonna put it in front.
This is long.
You wait. Hold on.
Follow what she's doing.
Alright,
Nathan.
put it. You're gonna put it in front of your loop. And then you're gonna take your set back loop and pull it off of your finger and pull.
I'm not
So we're
understanding
wrapping it
that.
in front, taking the back loop off and pull. Let me see yours. I'll come around and show y'all in a second.
I broke in my own heart.
I
I do